What are credit cards? How do they work? How do these credit card companies make money? And most importantly, should you be using a credit card or not? Let's find out. Hi, I'm your host Riya, and the topic of today's video is credit cards. But before we begin, make sure you've subscribed to our channel Freedom Money English and download the Freedom app. What are credit cards? Let's use an example to understand this. Suppose you're a college student and your mobile phone broke. You need to buy the smartphone urgently, but there's insufficient balance in your bank account. So what do? You ask your parents to transfer some money to your bank account, but this will take 2 to 3 days. But you need to buy the smartphone before your class, that is the next day. What are your options? In such situation, you can use credit card to make the purchase immediately and pay it later. So essentially, a credit card is a card that helps you in purchasing things instantly, but you can pay for them later at the end of the month. Generally, if there's enough money in your bank account, you withdraw cash and use it to make the payment. Or the second option is you use a debit card. It is directly linked to your bank account. When you make the payment through the debit card, the money gets deducted from your bank account directly and transferred to the other party. But in case of credit card, the bank makes the payment on your behalf to whomsoever you are trying to pay. And then at the end of the month, you repay all the expenses of that month to the bank. In a way, you take an instant mini loan, which you can repay in the next 30 to 45 days without paying any interest on it. But if you take more than a month in repaying the bank's money, then the bank will charge high interest, similar to a loan. Normally, when you take a loan, you can get it in cash if you want to, but here, instead of a loan, the bank is giving you a plastic card with a name and a unique number on it, so that card can be uniquely identified as well as the expiry date. Now the question is, how is the payment being processed? There are some payments processing companies like Visa and MasterCard. These two are the most popular companies. They basically provide a back-end infrastructure to facilitate credit card transaction. The bank issuing the credit card is distinct from Visa and MasterCard. These two are only involved in the payment processing, and there is a magnetic strip on the other side of the credit card as well as the CVV number. It is very important to keep it safe and secret, otherwise you may be a victim of fraud. Now the very important part. Every credit card has a credit limit, the amount of money that you can spend with the credit card without first paying the bank. If the limit is set at 30,000, then you cannot spend more than 30,000 using that credit card. Well, the credit card limit varies from bank to bank and the type of card you bought. The bank checks your salary, your credit score, and decides on your credit limit based on these factors. If the bank is assured that your salary is adequate and that you can afford to pay back the bank, then the bank will trust you more and you will get a higher credit limit. Now, what is credit score? Well, this is also an interesting concept. If you don't make the credit card payments and loan repayments on time, then the bank will think that it will be quite risky to give you money. It will be unsure about when you will repay the advances, if at all, because the bank takes a risk while giving you a credit card or a loan. To judge this risk, the banking sector has created its grading system. It grades you. The score ranges from 300 to 900 and it is known as your credit score. If your score is somewhere between 750 and 900, then it is an excellent credit score. It means that the bank can trust you and the risk is very low. But if your score is somewhere around 300 to 400, then the bank can't trust you at all. So your credit score is calculated based on your previous track record. And on that basis, the bank judges if your credit limit should be high or low. In fact, whether or not to issue a credit card to you at all. Now let's talk about the advantages. How will you benefit from using a credit card? If you want to buy something immediately but you want to pay for it later at the end of the month, then you can use the credit card. It helps you to meet the immediate expenses. The second major advantage is that using a credit card is less risky than using a debit card. If you're a victim of a fraud, then in the case of debit card, the money will be directly deducted from your bank account. But in the case of credit card, your bank or the credit card issuer will pay on your behalf. And if there's a fraud, they can investigate it. If there's actually a fraud, then they will get your money back. In India, if there is any fraud with your credit card, then the customer, that is your liability, becomes zero if you report the fraud within just 3 days. So the risk of making payment is borne by the bank. The third major advantage is the rewards that you get for using a credit card. The reward systems vary depending on the bank and the type of credit card you issue. In some cases, you may get a cashback. In others, you may get a heavy discount. You may even get insurance in some, like insurance to be paid if you meet with an accident. You can also get travel insurance for free with your credit card. The benefits that you get for using it depends on your credit card. But nowadays, almost every credit card comes with some sort of reward point system. You can collect the points and can then exchange those points to buy something expensive or something that you might like. Now comes the question, how to choose the right credit card. Well, there is a video on our channel which you can refer. The link will be attached in the description. Which credit card is right for you? To decide, you need to remember 3 main things. First, in the bank that will issue your credit card, any reward point system, the fees charged by the bank, and any hidden fees. These are mostly decided by the banks. Second is which of the credit cards offered by the bank will you be using. There are more rewards for higher level credit cards. The insurances and points are also better, but they often have high fees as well. And the third thing to remember is which payment network is used in that card. As I said, Visa and MasterCard are the 2 most common networks. But apart from these, American Express, Diners Club and RuPay are also being used. Although Visa and MasterCard are so common that there is a negligible difference between the 2. If you see American Express, then it differs a lot from these 2, because in most places, Visa and MasterCards are widely accepted, but not American Express. But American Express offers you better rewards. I told you the bank decides the reward point system mostly, but to an extent, the payment networks also decides about the types of reward on their networks and the benefits to the credit card holders. Although it is interesting to note that no more MasterCards can be issued in India because MasterCard violated some guidelines and the RBI notified that though people can keep using the existing MasterCards, no more new MasterCards can be issued, as long as the MasterCard company does not comply with these guidelines. But overall, the various banks use a different proportion of MasterCards, Visa, and American Express cards. Banks like RBL and Yes Bank uses MasterCard exclusively. And then there are banks like Kotak which uses Visa exclusively. Now comes an interesting question, how do the banks make money? Let's look at things from the bank's perspective. How do these banks make profit from credit cards? The most simple way for the bank to earn money is by charging the annual fees. To use some credit cards, you have to pay a yearly payment. Apart from this, there are many different types of fees charged by the banks. If you're not making timely payments, then a late fee will be charged. If you want to withdraw cash from the credit card, then there is often an extra fee of 2 to 5% which is charged. But friends, you would be surprised to know that a large portion of these banks' income is actually a result of people's stupidity. Many people don't pay their credit card bills at the end of the month. Because of this, the bank charges a high interest rate on it. and this interest rate can be as high as 30% compounded annually. That's twice or thrice the interest rate on loans. The bank earns a lot of money by charging such high interest rates, and people loses their money. If every person using a credit card starts paying the bank on time, then a major part of the bank's profit will disappear and they might have to close their credit card option. So now when you have the complete knowledge on how credit card works, so weigh your options, check if you really need a credit card or not, and then only make a decision, or else you will get in the trap of credit card. Hope you like this video. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel Freedom Money English and download the Freedom app. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.